I'm 6'4", not 5'6", so. Alright, well, as Coach Shane said, I'm Anthony Sacco, and I'm currently in a brace right now from my injuries, but just to go back a little bit, I remember sitting at the tables maybe about 7 years ago when the big bald-headed guy I used to live with talk about Marcy Deerfield Pop Warner football, and I thought to myself, how hard can this really be? So here goes nothing. I remember first walking into the gym in the middle school September 1st, 2007 for my first modified practice and thought to myself, this is going to change everything, and did it ever. I never thought the collection of kids we had would do anything but argue about who was stronger or who was faster, but we had an 8-0 season, and that would be only the tip of the iceberg for the class of 2012. I then remember later that season, we had a meeting for all upcoming freshmen where we met our 3 JV coaches, an angry Steelers fan, an amateur weightlifter, and a guy whose face was so red it looked like it was going to explode when he talked. They talked about the practices, and I had to be honest, I was a little nervous because I knew it would be a totally different level. Every single one of us had different experiences on JV, but that would help us know our role for the future because we had another 8-0 season. In 10th grade, a couple changes happened. A good friend of mine got moved up because he could kick. Another one because he ran as fast as Usain Bolt. And Coach Schmidt finally got his dream job as offensive coordinator of a high school varsity football team. Coach Schmidt will later be replaced by probably my favorite coach, Coach McQueen, because he was chill and he could name every Dave Matthews song ever created. We won 8-1 that year because someone had to schedule a 9th game against a Class B school. But after that, we all realized what was ahead of us, and we were motivated after what we saw the class ahead of us do. So we entered preseason, August 15th, 2010, with the 3 wise men, Coach Schmidt, his twin, Hertham, but we just called him Sandstorm, and everyone's favorite coach, Cuzzy, but his real name is Hathaway, we always call him Cuzzy though. We won 10-2 that year, with consecutive Section 3 and regional championships, with a back-to-back state Final Four appearance. And after we lost to the eventual state champion Aquinas, a fire inside us grew for more. Coach Shane put on one of our prep sheets this year. Conquer the next summit. When it gets tougher, make the next step no matter how hard it takes. And that quote would apply to me just not only in football but in everyday life. After the first day of doubles, Coach Shane called all the seniors together and told us this season's going to go by in a hot flash. And before you know it, we're going to hand you a trophy, so savor every moment, because you're the only ones that can't do this again. So we rolled up our sleeves, listened to Coach Shane and Coach Schmidt argue over the blocking scheme of a pass 88. Coach Sylvester yelled at Brian Flanagan every time he stepped on his toes in the macadam drill. And Coach Nassif still butchered me and Tanner's name, even though he's known us since 8th grade. Sacco and Montoya. After doubles, we had a tough opening against Indian River, where I created probably the most infamous tackle dance I've ever had, the infamous cutthroat, which you can see on the poster over there. In Cortland the next week is when everything changed, though. I was making a tackle, and when I felt a pop in my right knee, that was always my worst fear as an athlete. That Monday, me and my dad went to see Dr. Dempson, and he told me that I had a torn ACL and medial meniscus. The rest of that day, I stayed home, locked myself in my room, and cried because I thought something I worked so hard for was so easily taken away. But later that week, I was granted a second chance when the MRI came back, and I was told I might be able to play on it, depending on how hard I worked in rehab. 3 weeks later, I returned against Watertown on senior night and played for the remainder of the season. Believe me, it was a blessing. But I also looked at the injury as a blessing in disguise, because it made me realize a hard fact that every single player still fortunate enough to play for Whitesboro needs to realize. Any idiot can tell you you can't do something, but don't ever let those words enter your head. If you thought people doubted you when you were healthy, just wait till you're damn near dead. Every drop of blood lost, every ounce of sweat shed, and the drop of a hat, I'd do it all again. From every practice in the heat to games in the rain, those defining moments is why people remember our names. From state Final Fours to first day dad's sad songs, you never really miss football until it's actually gone. Cherish every moment, boys, because you never know when it's over. 7-4, signing out.